Anyway, starting over with this little view of what I've been working on. That whole stand and all the bases and the wiring that comes through for all those lights comes through that little clam deal right there. The edges on this with the routed edges and polished edges of that raw aluminum sheet that started out as just a chunk of 3/16. That big radar mount, that took a long time. Getting her polished up, all these arms, there's 4 on the other side. All the work that went into all those things, getting them countersunk and threaded precisely. A lot of precision in this whole thing, a lot of work in this build. This was an afterthought we thought might be coming and was hoping there wouldn't be, but there was so much deflection in this roof that if you even just moved in the boat, the whole back end, because the weight of that rod holder set up right there, it just cantilevered over and just jiggled, and it would have worked itself right to death right off the roof. So this whole system here with the handles were already there, but I had to build the stuff around them. That's the wiring for the lights from above and from the front that were on the radar dome. All that wiring coming right through there. Anyway, these are all countersunk in there and got them all polished up. That stuff takes time. You can't believe the time it takes. Another part of a build just the other day. Kind of a cool thing. Got my Garmin set up. This will be part of my Panoptix. There's the new network that I got in there, but most of the wiring's already taken care of. I just got to tidy it up, waiting on some stuff. Put that mount right there so I can take and turn that unit and get it faced to wherever I want in the boat. And I can change the angle on it just by tilting that down. So part of that is Cisco Systems. Most of it, just the base I did because I had to contour it to the roof on a plate I already had. So that plate was already there but wasn't doing anything. So had to counteract and, well, I forget what that was, 18-degree angle slope to the roof so that I could get that to hang plumb. There's the circuitry and switch. So there's the switch that goes to the remote that turns the Panoptix. The remote's too small for my hand, so I may end up having to build something for that, for crying out loud. But anyway, there's the power. That's power coming straight from the battery switch on 6-gauge wire. It's fused back there for 30 amps near the batteries. There's the ground block. So that's the ground block for all the stuff coming from above. Not a lot happened forward, other than we get radar now, but most of this all these other installs, all this other Lowrance stuff is already existing. Oh, that existing hole was where the TR1, or sorry, the 0.1 heading sensor for Lowrance came through. I don't know why those guys ever put it there when they put it there from the dealership or the factory, but it was a poor choice. So rather than cutting new holes in the roof of the boat, I cut slots in the bottom of the padding where the radar dome is sitting on the roof. Underneath there's padding that's got slots cut to account for the size of that radar cable that comes through that existing hole, so I didn't have to pop any new ones. And then coming down and routed right down this window way, down the window, down through the only hole I think I had to make in this boat that was brand new. I had to oversize a couple, but that were already existing. But that right there then comes down, and you don't even want to see under here, but there's the Lowrance network under there, real dark. Let's see if I can turn some lights on. There's part of the Lowrance backbone, and then anyway, that radar cable goes up and gets way up into the mess up in there, and then comes around and comes into the back of this Lowrance system here in one of the Ethernet ports. So they are now all taken up back here other than regular sonar. Structure scan, the whole 9 yards there. But I don't know. It was a debate in my head to go whether to go Garmin with the Panoptix system or think that Lowrance was going to have it all first year. So pulled the trigger on some Garmin stuff and don't really hate it because I already had the autopilot and it all works with the new Reactor 40 that's on that little Honda down there that's all tore apart for no real reason other than I just haven't got back to putting the cowlings back on it since I changed. Well, that was one other thing. There's where the Panoptix system goes. Right there, probably shouldn't have showed that, but too close to the batteries, but I needed a place to put it, so there it is. But anyway, I increased the size of this arm right here, this armature where the autopilot throttle control goes for the Garmin 40, Reactor 40. And that arm extension is to create a longer pull radius in order to get a finer throttle control, so smaller steps in between, getting fewer RPMs every time you hit the button on the remote. Makes too big a jump, so you can't really fine tune your throttle. So I extended that in order to account for the over throttling that happens because there isn't a fine tune adjustment on Garmin's Reactor 40 throttle control, in my opinion. So anyway, that's the majority of it. There's the balls out. It's ready for the Garmin 1242 SVX. No, what is it? I think that's right. SVX. Plus, that's supposed to go right here. Those are holes that I oversized for a plate that is currently over there that I built yesterday for the base for the balls out in order to not create any more holes that weren't already here. So that is a big chunk of her. What's taken me so damn long that I can't get out on any lake to fish. And it's driving me crazy, but we're coming around. We're almost there. Just trying to do this right one time the first time and make it look good in the process. And in order to do that without thrashing things and making mistakes takes a lot of time. But maybe not for some guys, but for me it does. Anyway, that's what's been happening. Hope you like it. Talk to you later.